For what? She been around, but she love it on the West Coast. Pretty girl, she laying out in Cabo. Summertime, she fly to Puerto Rico. BG, Miami, Turks and Caicos. She been around, but she love it on the West Coast.
Do you want to do a little show and tell?
Sure, yeah. So this is yerba mate, in case you're wondering. This is a bombilla straw right here.
Bombilla?
Bombilla, yeah, it's a bombilla straw. So it's South American type of tea. Usually Argentina, Uruguay, Brazil, they drink stuff like this. You might see Messi. Messi drinks this every time he's walking up to the stadium. He'll have this tucked up under his arm like this, and he'll be sipping on this. And it's kind of like what coffee does for you. Kind of like gives you that boost of energy.
Interesting.
And it gives you a little bit of a head change as well too. Like it puts you like into a good mood, like a happy mood. It's not like a high, but it's a little bit of a different, so I drink this. It makes me feel good. It helps me flow in my conversation. So the bombilla straw has like a filter at the very, very bottom.
Genius.
And there's leaves in here. That's the yerba mate right there. That's the leaves. And that way the leaves and the dust doesn't come up through the straw. And then you just pour that warm water into here, not boiling water, just warm water, pour it into here, and then you just sip.
Where do you get it from?
You can get it from, now you can get it, of course, like Amazon, like anything else, right? But usually like it'd be from South America. So this one that I drink is called Playadito. The leaves are Playadito, that's the brand, and that's from Argentina.
Interesting.
Yeah, so Brazil has their yerba mate, Uruguay has their own. I like the one from Argentina.
Yeah.
And this one is called Playadito, and it's smooth, and there's other ones that are more harder, more harsher, and it gets straight to your chest and it gets your heart pounding. Yeah, but this is more smoother for me.
Is that your secret ingredient?
Oh, it's one of mine. Yeah, it's one of my secret. Yeah, I vouch for it all the time. I tell people about it all the time. I take it everywhere I go. I take it on vacation. I take it to my son's practices for soccer. I take it to the studio and write songs with it. Yeah, so I always have it with me all the time. It's super healthy, has lots of antioxidants. It's good for you, good for the mind. Yeah, it's great. It's great stuff.
This.
Yerba mate, I suggest you do your research. Anybody, watching, listening, do your research on yerba mate. Not the tall can drink. Not the tall can, because there's a drink that's kind of like Monster or Red Bull.
Kylie Jenner, I think, promoted that a few years ago.
Okay.
And I didn't like it when I had it. That's why that's what I thought
this is the traditional way.
That's the original way.
This is the traditional OG way, and that's the way I like to do it. And I think that has the best effect.
Because, I love caffeine. Like, I love pre-workout. I love coffee. I love milkshake coffee. So, like, you put all this stuff into it. But I'm trying not to drink it as much because you feel all the excess, and I just want to feel healthy and I want to feel like myself. So this
is a better option. This is a better option. Taste wise, I'm not sure, because it tastes like it tastes like earth. It tastes like dirt.
But that's a good
But
thing.
it's an acquired taste. Like you start to like it. You start to love it. And actually afterwards, I kind of get like a chocolatey aftertaste. Yes, but it takes a while to build to that.
Interesting. It's almost like you're like a connoisseur.
Yeah, no, for sure, yeah.
What are your other secret ingredients that you take with you in every day?
Probably just my faith in the Lord. I use that a lot. I lean on that every single day.
Yeah.
That's not a secret of mine, but I also don't, boast about it. Like if I'm out about my every single day, I'm not really boasting about it. I'm not talking to everybody or trying to preach to people, although my music does have a positive feel and it does lean on faith and talk about more positive things. Just because I've matured so much, so my music is not talking about the stuff that I used to talk about, when I was a lot younger, When I was a lot younger, it was a lot of ignorant stuff, just trying to be cool, just trying to fit in and just trying to find myself.
Yeah.
And now that I'm, a lot older and I have a family, I talk about what I go through now, which is, like sometimes having bad days and sometimes not even knowing how I'm going to get through this. Like, how am I going to get out of this situation? And I don't find there's no way I'm going to do it. But then I lean on the Lord and I lean on staying creative, staying positive.
Yeah.
And that's how you get through it, And I think that once you have your talent, because everybody's born with a talent. I believe everybody's born with a God-given talent. And once you find a way to use that talent for good, then you found your purpose. So a lot of people don't know what their purpose is. They might be talented, it might be making money, might not be making money, might be living a cool lifestyle, but they still are not happy.
Unfulfilled.
Unfulfilled.
Yeah, unfulfilled in their relationships, unfulfilled in what they're doing every single day, unfulfilled in why they're doing the things that they're doing, whether that's a dinner party or going out for coffee with somebody, networking and stuff. And they're so, as you said, unhappy. It's hard to see people go through that.
It's so hard. And I've been through stuff like that. You know what I mean? Talking about like going to cool place. I used to live like right around the corner from this spot here in Hollywood. And I used to go to the coolest places, the funnest place, hang out with some really cool people. But at the end of the day or at the end of the night, I'm just like, I'm not really truly happy, you know, because I didn't have my purpose.
Yeah.
But then once you start, okay, so for me, music is what I like to do. It's my passion. That's one of my talents. So I'm like, okay, I'm talking about nonsense. I'm talking about just immature stuff. But once I found out, okay, I can, you know, portray a good message and send out, you know, my message of like faith and leaning on the Lord and doing all that, then I found my purpose. Like that's my purpose. When you find your talent and combine that with doing something good, spreading love, that was my purpose.
Let's talk about that, right? Because you have always been a creative, right? I would even argue that, you know, looking at your history and all the work that you've done is you've always been a creator of your life. What was the moment for you where you look back at some old music or some of the older things that you've done, and you were like, oh, that's not me. Like that was immature. That was, that's not aligned with who I am now.
I think it's not even looking at my music. It's just looking at myself, looking at my own face, my own lifestyle that I'm living. I'm not really, you know, being true to myself. You know, I might be talking about these things in my music, but that's not really me. You know what I mean? Even though like deep down, I have like a good heart and I know I do, but I know I'm not perfect. And that's where you're like, okay, what am I doing? What's going on here? You know? So that's where I said, you know what? I can't be doing, especially with family and stuff. You know, I'm trying to create art to outlive me, you know? So when I'm dead and gone, my art, my music is going to outlive me. It's going to be here forever. And I think it's just the coolest thing that I can lay down a song and my voice, you can hear my voice, like my son's kids, they can hear my voice forever. And why do I want to have them hear, you know, something that has a poor message, you know? So for me, like putting out a good message and having those live on forever. And then years from now, my son finally realizing like, oh, that's what he's talking about. That's what he was about, you know? And him showing his kids like, this is what your grandfather was about. Wow. This is the message that he wanted to spread.
Yeah. You're leaving a legacy. You're creating something so special just for you, but also for the community, right? And you do that with LA specifically, right? So you have so many different roles with ESPN, LAFC, like you are the voice of LA. How does that influence or impact your music and some of the things that you create originally?
I think that for me, it's all about, you know, creating my own lanes. Throughout my whole entire career, I've always like prayed for like something to do that was fun and that I enjoyed. And I didn't feel like, okay, I'm going to go to work now. I got to go to work and I got to go to this cubicle or whatever it is. Like I always wanted to do something that I loved. And I never really had that pinpointed down to like, this is what I'm going to do and let's go for it. I had to stumble upon it. I had to fall, you know, lose, learn, you know, live a little more and get back on it. But I never gave up on it. So that's the thing is I tell people, you got to create your own lane. You got to create your own lanes because if you don't, you're going to just be stagnant, you know? And just like you, I see you doing multiple things, a lot of things. You can't just be a podcaster. You can't just be one thing. I just can't be on ESPN and that's it. I got to do all kinds of other stuff. And I always tell everybody like, you don't just have to be a firefighter. Like you can be a firefighter and you can be a rapper too. Or you could be a doctor and you can make music too, you know, and take it seriously and do it professionally and doing it the right way. You don't have to just be one thing. And so for me, like my music, you know, lets people know that, you know, and I think that the way I handle myself on the microphone as an ESPN LA production director and on the microphone doing like reporting and a podcast for LAFC, like in soccer. I can also get on the mic and do some rapping too and make some songs. So,
well, I feel like it makes you even better, right? So going back into, you know, you find your talent, you know what your talent is, and that will help you learn what your purpose is. How did you realize that music and really building community, right, through music was your talent?
I think whenever I was young, you know, I've always been into music.
Yeah.
And I don't know where it came from, But as I got older, I started to create my own music, like without anybody teaching me. I just kind of was self-taught how to, write a song, write 16-bar verse with the chorus, a bridge, back into a chorus.
Wow.
And I kind of created it all myself just by listening to music. Say, I can do that. I can do that without anybody teaching me. And then I realized that there's a few people, a few cousins, a few family members on my dad's side that have the same thing where like nobody's been taught how to do this. I got a cousin who sings. I got another cousin who sings. I got another cousin who plays the guitar, all on my dad's side. So that's where it comes from. It comes from my dad's side. I don't know about my mom. I got other stuff from my mom, but from my dad, I think that's where the music stuff came from.
Yeah.
And as we got older, we connect more and we connect on the music that way. And it's been pretty cool to realize that, and I think those are just God-given talents that we have,
I wish I could sing. I mean, I think everybody can sing to a certain extent, right? But like, I don't know what it is with my family, but I would say like we don't really have a lot of talent. Like,
no, you do.
To the point where I hired a tarot reader to check on like, is like my family cursed? Like what's happening?
Oh,
and she's
wow.
like, no, they just make bad decisions. So.
Oh no.
But we're finding it. I think you're finding your voice, right? And a lot of people, I think, struggle with finding their voice because, of course, society tells you how to be, entertainment tells you how to be, musicians, not that they tell you how to be, but you're creating a world and you're reflecting in that and you're seeing yourself in that I think it's hard to step out and create your own lane because you're alone, and we want support. We want people to be around us. We want to, build community, of course, but it's hard sometimes, How do you recommend somebody start to unpack that for themselves? If, they're listening here and they're like, I want to make music or I want to do pottery or something, like, how do I start?
Obviously, I think you got to have a team. I don't think you could do it on your own, like especially with music. A lot of people say they're independent and they do it all on their own. They don't, you can try to do that, but it's going to be very, very difficult. My suggestion would be for music wise, get your own studio and you can do it in your own house. And it doesn't really cost that much. A lot of people will be surprised how cheap it could be to make yourself a nice looking studio at your own place. And once you got that going, then I lean on a lot of like family and friends for like graphic design and stuff like that. If I need a flyer, if I need an album artwork, something like this, lean on family, friends. And then if you need video work as well, I think that's another big thing is like video and graphic design. If you have those two and your own studio at home, you don't really need a record label. You don't need the big machine.
Yeah.
What big machine are we talking about?
Yeah.
There is no machine.
Yeah.
Like you have it all if you have that access, if you have that support from friends that are talented as well, work together and just make it happen yourselves. There's no machine. There's no machine needed. If you want to do the radio thing, you might need some help there.
Yeah.
But again, who needs radio nowadays with what we got going on with social media and all that stuff?
I love radio.
Yeah, I love radio too. I work in radio.
I know. I'm such a print and radio person. I'm like, don't make it go away, please. Let's just, keep listening to it.
Yeah.
How do you think LA helps or hinders with that, right? Because a lot of people, right, they're the hometown heroes, they're the most talented people in the Midwest or wherever, and they come to LA because they're like, you have the record labels, you have the big machine here that's going to help me. And, they may have graphic designers and they may create stuff that doesn't look like them or doesn't reflect their actual craft. You grew up here. So you've built your community here. You have your family here. Is it still the same? Is it just literally like, no, find your friends and find your family to make it happen? Or do you really think that LA has some sort of secret sauce that can help you get there?
I think LA has a vibe for sure. There we go with Cali Vibe with the new song. There is a vibe here. Because I live outside of LA now, but when I came in here into town today to come do this podcast, I just came in here and there's an energy, you know what I mean? You don't get this energy just anywhere else. You don't get this energy 20 minutes out of this city. You got to be in here to really get this energy. When I come in here, I feel like hustling. I want to get on my phone. I feel like just shaking, baking, making moves, talking to you, introduce you with my boy that's here with me too.
Yeah.
And all that happens here in LA, in Hollywood, in the mix. You don't do this out there. Out there, it's like totally different. It's a lot slower. Like I was telling you before this podcast, I used to live here right around the corner, and we moved out as a family whenever I started to have a family because we were pregnant. So we were like, we can't really raise a kid here in, right in the mix of Hollywood where we're at. So we moved further away, still in California, but further away. And when I did, I felt a little depressed, even though I had a newborn here in my hands and I'm just like rocking him to sleep.
Yeah.
I felt a little bit depressed because I was missing the action.
Yeah.
The action of just being out here and hustling and just like networking with people, being out at the mixers and all that stuff. I just really missed that. And it took a while for me to get adjusted. So LA is unique like that. You can't get that type of feeling and that type of motivation, like if you're really trying to make it, come out here to LA, come out to LA and just get in the mix and just mingle, rub shoulders, rub elbows with everybody. And I guarantee you it's going to do a lot for what you're trying to do.
Yeah. I always tell people you have to, it doesn't matter where you are, but depending on what you want to do, you have to be in the place in order to make it happen.
Yes.
Because as you said, the vibe, I'm like, I got goosebumps as soon as you said that, because it's so real and it's so right. It's the right people that are doing the things that you're doing that are going to help you out. Somebody's doing something that you potentially could use or leverage or help them with, right? It's just, you can't get that if you're at home in Michigan or Ohio or something. In some cases, sure, but it's just not the same vibe.
And there's no hunger. Like here, everybody's hungry. Everybody want to make something happen. If you're outside of this, you might not find that hunger, just like walking into somebody at Ralph, even at Ralph's here in Hollywood, there's everybody just hustling, just trying to make it, right? And they're
like
creative.
The rock and roll mural.
Yes. And everybody's talented and everybody's good at what they do.
Yes, they're the best.
Yes. Right. So I love it. I mean, that's, everybody hates LA. It's fitting because, everybody comes here, because like hate is something that you should actually feel welcome. Like if they hate on you, you're doing something right? So for everybody to hate LA, it's because LA is doing something right, So I love that about the name of your podcast, Everybody Hates LA, because you know what? If they do, it's okay. I'll accept that.
Go for it.
It's okay.
Yes. Yeah. No, literally I was just on the phone with one of my girlfriends, who's going through a professional change. And I was like, I don't care if they hate me. I don't care. Like, listen, I could be flipping burgers at In-N-Out and I'll be the happiest person. And like, what are you, like, you're going to hate on me and like be miserable. Like I'm living my best life flipping these burgers. Like I'm, I'm having a ball with everything. So I totally agree with you.
That's one thing is like living a simple life.
Yeah.
Like, that is the key to life. Just simple happiness. I try to stress that to my son. Just simple happiness. That's the thing that we go by is like the littlest, tiniest things. If we go on a hike or if we go to the beach and we're just chilling right there, like be present in that moment and realize that these are the good old days. Like these little things, these are the good old days. Right now, you're gonna think 10 years from now, like, oh man, I remember when me and my dad used to go to the beach and we used to play soccer on the beach. Yeah. Those were the good old days. Yeah. So be in the moment and realize when the good old days are happening right now. Yeah. And take that moment just to look around and be like, okay, yeah. These are going to be the good old days one day. Yeah. And I felt that, right? We were just talking about it. It's, I've been in the best possible professional job. I've been on top of the world. I've been with incredible celebrities and incredible experiences that like the little girl from Germany was never supposed to experience, right? But and I was happy and I loved it, but I'm like, that's not it. Like there's more to life than just the title and the people that I'm around and the things that I'm seeing and the things that I'm buying. And I like what you said about the simple happiness because now I'm really going back to basics, right? Now I'm really going back to, okay, who's around me? Like, how am I feeling? Am I aligned with my values? Do I have faith, right? Am I scared of something and why? And usually if I'm scared of something or if it's not working out, it's because it's too complicated. There's like too much mush on it almost. Did you realize that when you moved out of the city, or was that something that you had already kind of inside of you? The simple happiness, I've had that for a long time. And that comes from my mom. Just, like not really caring about all this stuff. Even my wife, when we were here, when me and my wife were living out here, I'd be going to certain events or whatever, or, things like that. And she would care less. Yeah. She could care less about those things when maybe her friends or my friends would be like, oh, that was cool. She's like, no, I'm going to stay home at the apartment or whatever, Love. So she was never about that. So I always think like, how come she doesn't really she's not impressed. Yeah. She's not impressed by these things. Or even like if I come do a podcast or something, like she might tune in, she might not. Yeah. You know what I mean? She's more about the simpler things and just like what makes her happy. You know what I mean? And that's what I try to do. I just try to do, a lot. I find myself doing a lot of the things that I liked when I was a kid. That's whenever you're true happy. Like whatever made you happy as a kid, as you get older, as you get older, you try to be
That's the
like,
thing.
I want to do what what if it like, maybe it's like collecting baseball cards or riding your bike or playing with a certain toy or collecting certain things. Like those little things that made you happy as a kid, you'll find yourself finding joy like as you get older, in those little things like that. And that's like the simple life, after you've gone through so many things and had so many ups and downs and so many, big moments and milestones in your career, you're just like, oh, I'm going after this. I'm doing that. I'm making this happen. And at the end, you're just like, man, I'm done with that. I'm just like, I'd rather just go back to the simple thing.
I just want to play.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I love that.
Live free, have a free mind, which is hard. As a kid, you don't have these stresses and all these goals. You're just living. You're just enjoying that moment, So just trying to get back to that as you get older. It's hard, because we want to be creative and we want to be, artistic and express ourselves and be successful at work and all this stuff. But when you get a chance to get those times and those moments, take advantage just to like realize them,
Yeah. So that's a perfect transition to your new song, Cali Vibe, which is coming out at this point. It'll be today, which I'm so excited. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell us about the song.
So Cali Vibe is basically, I was going on like a bunch of vacations, like in the past couple of years. And I would just realize like all these cool spots, like I'd go to like, let's say Cabo or like Cancun or Miami or wherever. And I don't just realize like these spots are all cool, but we have this all in LA. We have this beach. We have this blue sky. We have these trees. We have all this good food. We have this in LA too. And then just kind of like sparked an idea to do a song about like, man, traveling all around and realizing that we have this all in LA. And then when I used to live here, I used to just meet people that were from, let's say like other countries, other states that would come here to try to make it right in Hollywood, and they'd be beautiful. Like let's say a bunch of like models that would be here, and they'd be beautiful models, you know what I mean? And they would tell us like, like I've been all over. I'm like a jet set queen, traveling all over the place, but the West Coast is where my heart is at, So that's how I came up with this song right here. It's called Cali Vibe. It's just pretty much just paying respect to LA and just how beautiful it is. And you can go all over the place, but this is LA. This is the Cali Vibe.
It's like if you get it, you get it. You know, just the West Coast. Again, the feel, how you feel when you're going to these places, having the mountains, the ocean, going on different hikes, going to different parties. I mean, it's such an anthem just for the summer and for the full experience of it. I think that's one of my favorite things here. It's the adventure that you get to be on every single day. Like you get to wake up every single day and you have palm trees and you have beautiful cars and you have beautiful, again, models or influencers or entrepreneurs that are coming here doing really cool things in tech or entertainment or whatever. It's like, choose your own adventure and just go with it.
Exactly.
And we forget. We forget that so easily. Yeah,
and actually it's a summer vibe. It's a summertime song. And hopefully it could be a summer anthem for you. But there's an artist called Lil Rob. He's a Mexican rap artist. And he has a song called Summer Night. So it's like he's been having that song for many years. It's been like probably over 10 years that song has been out. And he's one of those artists that waits for the summertime so that his song can start playing again. Because it's one of his big songs, but hopefully we can make room for this one here. This one's called Cali Vibe. It's a summer vibe, and hopefully people take to it and bump it at the barbecues, at the beach, wherever. Yeah. And it's got it's for the ladies too, so it's got a cool beat to it, cool chorus, and
you can definitely dance to it. I think, which is really fun. Yeah. How did you come up with?
I got the beat first. Okay, so I got the beat first, and I really loved the beat right away, and I said, man, this makes me feel like just chilling out at the beach and just hanging out with my lady and just being on the Cali beach somewhere, and so then I started writing to it right away, but it wasn't summertime, it wasn't summertime yet. So I just started writing to it and just started thinking about all the LA spots, Hollywood, the Roosevelt, Santa Monica, even like Long Beach, all along the West Coast, like Long Beach. I even gave some shout outs to San Diego, the Bay Area. And so I started writing it, mentioning all the spots, Runyon Canyon. And then the song was done. I loved it. I was excited about it. You know what I mean? I can't wait for this to come out. but it's the wintertime.
Yeah.
It's not summertime. So this had to sit there and wait for a little bit. And now it's time. Now this summer is finally here because the official day of summer, I believe, is June 20th. So that's the first day of summer. So that's when it comes out.
And it's the summer solstice.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
Spiritually aligned.
There we go.
How do you wait that long?
It's hard, especially when you feel like you got a good one, you know?
Yeah.
It's hard to just put it in the computer and let it sit there. And because, you know, I feel like some artists say that they got to put it out right away because then it'll start feeling old, or maybe the song will get old, but you can't sit on it for like years.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just a few months. You know what I mean? I knew I had a game plan for it. I knew it was just gonna be a couple months away. So then it worked out, you know, it wasn't too long, but if it would have been like years, then that'd be a little bit too long.
I'm late with everything and I have thousands of projects. So as soon as I finish one, I'm like, hello world, I'm here. Because I just, maybe it's also the Aries in me, but I can't wait that long. But you said that you have 40 songs?
At least, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of music in there, you know, and some stuff, you know, probably won't come out. Some stuff will come out. I do have plans for stuff. I always have like at least 3 or 4 songs already planned as far as the release.
Yeah.
You know, of like when they're gonna come out. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So, but there's some songs that just get, you know, put on the shelf. You know, on
the
cutting room floor.
That? You're okay with that? Yeah.
Maybe one day, maybe if the time is right, it'll come out. But not everything needs to be come out.
How will you know if it's right? How will you know the different stages?
I don't know. I think you just get that feeling, you know, you just get that feeling like, okay, this song is fit for this moment, you know? And so it's definitely a good problem to have, you know, it's a good problem to have to where you kind of like, okay, I got a good batch to select from, you know? For me, the hard part is, should I do an album or should I just keep giving out these loosies? I give out loosies. I don't do like an album. I'll just put out songs as fast as I can and as much as I can, one at a time, you know, and build momentum that way.
Interesting.
Yeah, instead of just putting, because I'm an independent artist, so instead of putting like everything out all at once, you know, I'd rather stretch it out over a long period of time.
Yeah, and it's also like, it's like little parties, you know, it's like, let's have a party here, versus like a whole, you know.
Yeah, and that's where my wife comes in too, because she likes to do those things too. She likes to have people come over or go to a restaurant or do these little listening parties and stuff, and she goes all out, you know what I mean, and decorates the room with like the album cover or something like that. It's so cool. I love that.
I'm obsessed.
I always appreciate that.
But you have a lot of trust in yourself, I think, and you have a pretty good attunement to just like, you know, what feels right to you. Is that just, again, the community that you've just had since you were a little kid? That comes
from confidence. You know, I've always had confidence. Not really arrogance, but just like confident.
Yeah, belief in yourself.
Belief. Yeah, you got to have belief. If you don't have belief, you don't have confidence, nobody else is going to have confidence in you. So that's why when you step into the room or when you meet somebody, you got to have confidence, you know? Like I think the time where we met was in Beverly Hills, I believe it was, right?
It was the Think LA marketing breakfast. It was like with Barbie and Oppenheimer and stuff.
It was a great event.
It was amazing. And also, I don't know what it was, but like you spoke on stage and I was like, dang, he's commanding space and the presence right now.
I was going to ask you about that because I don't know what happened. I mean, I'm up there. It's like just a dream. You know what I mean? I don't remember. I don't really recall what I was saying. I really don't.
Really?
But the one thing I do recall is that when I came off, the lady who was hosting and the gentleman, there was 2 people that were hosting. She said, wow, everybody needs a Mario in their life. And I was like,
no, actually.
I was like, what does she mean? I really don't even know what that means. What did I do? You know what I mean? Like,
I think you were just yourself. You know, you just have this, I think, way about you where one, you make everybody feel really comfortable just to be themselves and be authentic and speak. But you also are like speaking on behalf of what people, like their emotions and what they care about. And it's more than just, oh, let me just showcase a player or let me just showcase the latest team that's winning, or, you know, it's your belief in other people. I don't know. I just remember like being so captivated by it and just taking all these notes and being so impressed. And
really?
I think afterwards I emailed you and I was like, hey, you were amazing. Can we stay in touch? And
I was impressed by you because you were by yourself, you know, at a table with a bunch of us there.
Always.
And I was like, this girl, she's here at this table.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. Like, how did she get in here by herself? Like, she's somebody, she's making moves, she's making things happen. So I had the ultimate respect for you.
Thanks.
And then when we met, I was like, okay, cool. And we exchanged information.
Yeah.
And so we barely had a chance to get together now. But yeah, that day I was like super nervous. Like I I was so nervous because it was a cool room. It was a nice room of a bunch of Hollywood people. We were at the
Lots
Beverly
of
Hills
marketing executives.
Hotel.
Yeah.
It was a good room to be in. So I just wanted to be, be good that day at doing what I was doing. And I wanted, just to make sure that in case somebody like Francesca was in the room, that, I can impress somebody, you know what I mean? And maybe get some calls or just, make an impression on somebody.
Because you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you don't know.
And, like one thing that these people know about me is like, I like to network. And so I tend to just, I'll drive to San Francisco or like a random thing in Morro Bay. Because I heard, here's a secret. I'm really big on Facebook groups. And so I join a lot of random like mom Facebook groups, chess Facebook groups, I don't know, dog Facebook groups. And you just get people talking about the most random things. And like, that I'm there and that I'm like, oh, it's at that place or it's at this thing. And I'll just drive 4 or 5 hours. And then I just somehow get tickets to go in. And I'm like, if I'm by myself, who cares? I'll just sit down and take my notes and do my thing. But if I can meet somebody, you never know. You never know what's going to happen 2 years from now, 5 years from now. Like we all, again, you change your jobs. You figure out what your purpose is. You may change your purpose. You may change your family dynamic. I just think again, life is just so beautiful and people come from so many different experiences and we forget to just be here and have these conversations and celebrate each other because we're just so busy thinking about, oh, let's go to this thing or that movie's coming out next or what have you, And that's why I love the music so much too, because you have a gift where you're able to make a moment matter for somebody. Like this might be somebody's like a first kiss song, like this might be somebody's like, again, summer anthem where they're having a barbecue and just, this is the song that's going to get everybody together. Like you just don't know what that is, but you as the musician can facilitate that experience. And you may never know that moment for somebody, right? Like it might just be something that will live for them, but it's a really special gift. Yeah.
It's true because once in a while I get people that actually hit me up on DM or whatever, and they tell me about these moments. You know what I mean? Like there's a song called Gimme Grace that I wrote when I was going through a really bad time. Like mentally, I was just like down and out.
Wow.
And I was just like, I need help, And I wrote this song called Gimme Grace, and it definitely helped me. And those are those times whenever you write your best music. And on that song, I get a lot of people that hit me up that listen to that song or barely found out about that song. It's called Gimme Grace, if you want to check it out. But a lot of people gravitate to that song and just really connect with it. And it helps them through some times in their lives, And it has a cool summertime vibe too. It has a ukulele to it, so it's chill. Wow. And I have some like waves going at the very beginning of the song. So it has that beach type of feel, but it's me like walking in the sand like, man, I need help. Like help me get through this, And when you hear that song, I think it helps out a lot of people. And that's what I love about this. Yeah.
Do you journal?
I do not journal. I think probably
writing
the lyrics,
is probably journaling, right? Yeah.
Making music is probably my journal.
Because I was thinking like, how do you create a project when like you're not finished? I don't know if that makes sense.
I think maybe I don't journal, but I write down notes. Yeah. Like lines here and there or thoughts or concepts of a song. And then I just keep those. And then one day I'll get to that, and then create a song out of that. Yeah. But I don't really like journal like all my thoughts or nothing like long form, just more like short, like I need to get to this. Like this is a deep thought that I have. I want to touch on this and start, doing a song. And if something comes out, a full song comes out of this, then great. If it doesn't, then, oh, well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you have a process when you're creating or does it come randomly and you just seize the moment?
It comes random, comes differently. Yeah. Different times, different ways, different songs come faster than others. The song that I released right before Cali Vibe, which was about 2 months ago, it's a bachata song. Bachata is from the Dominican Republic. It's like a sexy type of dance. It's like a lot of hip action, right? But it has like a little bit of pop, urban type of vibe to it. So it's a little bit of Spanglish. Yeah. It's a certain style of music. You know it when you hear it. It's different. It's called bachata. This song is called Una Noche Más, One More Night. I really like that style, that genre of music. And I was like, I can do that. I can do that style of music. Yeah. And I'm going to challenge myself to do it. So I was listening to a lot of other bachata music and I was like, okay, I noticed the formula. I recognized the formula. I took mental notes of it and I started to create this song and it came together like so quick. It was one of the fastest songs I wrote. And it's one of the most popular sounding, like radio friendly songs. if there was an artist like, let's say Prince Royce, who is a bachata artist, Prince Royce, if he was singing this song, it would be so huge. I guarantee it. But since it's coming from me, who doesn't have that following like a Prince Royce does, it's not really, doing what Prince Royce could do with a song like that.
Yeah.
But people just love that song. I love it.
I love
it. It's called Una Noche Más, which means one more night.
Oh, I can't wait. I mean,
so that song came together like super quick,
But it's cool because this is one of those things where maybe in 3-5 years, if even that long.
Yeah, that's part of the thing is releasing like music all the time, like just releasing these Lucy's that I call just like one at a time. There's a bunch out there throughout the years, you know what I mean? And some people, that say a new listener that comes to it, like say I get a new listener from this Cali Vibe, and all of a sudden they start listening to all the other songs that I put out. That's the idea.
Oh, and they can see your evolution.
Idea. Yes. It's new to somebody else, What's
your goal as a musician? Like I know we talked about you want to leave a legacy for your family. Of course, you're I guess dictating kind of and showing what you're going through in life, but what's your end goal if you have one?
My goal is just to make mainly my son proud, you know what I mean? And my wife proud, my family proud, the ones that are around me, my friends proud, It's not really like as far as like a goal, like an achievement or not something like that. That's not really the goal for me. The end all is just making everybody proud and doing it in a positive way and spreading, the word of just like love, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and living your life.
Yeah.
And what I like about that is that where there are so many people that are trying to make the industry proud and they're trying to appease a producer or a manager, you're really doing it for yourself, and you always have, and that's kind of been your secret formula, or your winning formula, I should say.
Yeah, I think, for me, it's just like I'm just trying to create my own lane because you're going after all these different things, and it's like you have to create your own lane, because to do what I've done, as far as like at ESPN and LAFC and music, nobody gave me a pamphlet or a booklet that said, hey, this is how you do it. A lot of times, like there's younger people that, because I like to mentor like younger kids. I like to mentor kids that come out of college or coming out of high school, and they want to know, like, give me like, what's the roadmap? What's the
what do I do?
There is none.
Yeah.
There is none. Create your own lane. And that's what I try to tell them, create your own lane and ways, because there's no one way of doing it. You got to fall. You got to learn, you got to live and get up and make it happen for yourself.
Yeah. I think that people are really afraid of failure. And I know we talk about that just being a cliche anyways, but people are embarrassed or they can't stand back up, but it's truly like once you fall down and then stand back up, that's the thing that defines you. That's how you get your integrity. That's how you show people who you actually are. It's not when you're doing everything right, interviewing different people, coming up with a new concept that they may or may not like. It's, oh, I fucked up.
Yeah. You gotta put yourself in a situation where you're scared, right? To be able to grow and to learn about yourself. Like that event in Beverly Hills where I met you, I was a little bit nervous, very nervous actually. But then when I got through it, I was like, wow, okay, I can do more of these, I think. I can do more of these, and I think I would do it in a good way. And you can't be brave if you don't have fear. So like I tell my son, like, you gotta be brave. If you're not in a situation where you're scared or you have fear, you're not gonna be brave. After this situation, when you get through it, I'm gonna say, wow, you were brave. But if you're in an easy situation where you're just used to it, you're just like, oh, this is easy, this is nothing for me, you can't be brave. Those moments where you show bravery, those are awesome moments right there.
Yeah. How do you, when you're at ESPN LA or even at LAFC and you're interviewing everyone and you're producing all these segments, whether that's for the podcast, the radio, whatnot, you're behind the microphone and you're making it happen for them. How do you show up in those spaces? Because with music, right, you're doing it for other people, but it's still you and you're kind of the highlight of that. Do you take a step back when you're interviewing everybody else, or how do those kinds of roles all interplay with one another?
Basically, when you're doing like an interview or something like that, you're basically showcasing the artist, the player, the coach, or whoever from the team, or whoever the athlete is. So you definitely got to take a step back and basically like set the table, for them to come in and do their thing, give them the softball so they can hit it out the park. So that's the role there. You just want to just serve them up to make them look really good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's identifying kind of what your role is and what you're trying to do.
Yes.
And you're able to easily switch the hats from that version of you to, hey, I'm making music now and I'm performing and I'm doing all these other amazing things.
And at the end of the day, it's all content.
Yes.
It's all content. It's all entertainment. Sports is so entertainment. And once you know that, then you'll be good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because yes, they're out there playing a sport that only a few people can do, and they're really, really good at it. They're professionals, but they also know that, okay, I got to come off and I got to do this interview because it's mandatory, because we're selling the club, you know, we're part of the club, the team. I have to do these interviews. So they know it's entertainment too. A lot of times there's fans that are super, super passionate about the team, and they just think that these players are just out there trying to win the game. They're also being entertainers, and that's why they get this big money. You know, athletes know that they are entertainers too, first and foremost. It's almost like neck and neck as far as winning and being an entertainer.
Yeah.
You have to be able to understand both. And once you become a pro athlete, you quickly understand how much sports is entertainment. And that's what's kind of like jaded me as far as like a sports fan. Cause my whole life I've been a sports fan, you know, and I just, I used to know like every single stat of every single team and sport. And then once I started getting into sports and working in sports, you start to realize this is all entertainment. Like it's a big production. Every single game, every single night at the stadium, the TVs, from the announcer to the cheerleaders to the security, like everything is a huge production. And the players come out and they understand it too, because they see everything that's going on, and they know that, you know, they have a PR person after the game that's going to say, hey, you were the man of the match. You had a great game. Come over here. You're going to talk to Mario because he's going to interview you because you were the man of the match. So they already know it just comes with the job, you know?
I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, it's such a business, such entertainment. It's all content, like I tell you.
It's all content.
It's all content at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And that goes for if you're a doctor too. You know, if you're a doctor or a nutritionist, you're making content too at the end of the day. So it all comes down to making content, which makes it kind of fun, you know?
Yeah. Well, but you're also good at that, right? Because you think creatively anyways. But I think a lot of people haven't, right? They think about, let me be an expert. Let me be the best that I can be at soccer or whatever. And then everything else just kind of came after that. But that's not, I mean, even back in the Roman days, right? You had theater or whatever, and people were in the arenas and kind of looking at that.
Being entertained.
Yeah.
Are you not entertained? Yeah.
Interesting. So how did you get into like AFC or like, you know, any of those roles?
So you were talking about networking, right? You're big on networking. I'm huge on networking. I always tell all the young kids, like, build your network. Don't burn any bridges. Like,
I need that advice because
don't burn bridges. Come
like,
on, girl.
No.
No. So like the interns that come in like at ESPN, I say, hey, you just meet people, get numbers, get emails, whatever you can, and stay in contact with these people. And even the fellow interns that are there with you, you might bond or, you know, get along with others, you know, more than others, but make sure that you're cool with all of them because you guys are all going to come up together through this industry, you know, and you never know. Somebody gets a job over there. You're over here struggling. They hit you up, say, hey, I remember you. Do you want to come over? That's how it works. It's such a small world.
Yeah.
And that goes for any industry, not just radio or broadcasting or TV or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's like build that network, keep that network flowing and keep growing it and growing it. That's a big part of it. But to answer your question about how I got to LAFC is through networking. It's through a buddy who worked at the Clippers and worked at the Galaxy. So other teams, you know, and we had this contact through him. And I realized that, there's a new football team, a new soccer team coming to town, and it looks pretty cool. Like it looks like it's going to be a cool thing. I want to work for that, you know, and I start doing research like who's over there. There's got to be somebody that I worked with. It's got to be like they're picking people from all these other teams, and that's what they do. So you're like, oh, I know all those people. I know like half the staff that they're trying to build right now.
Wow.
And then you get with your main one that's making the moves and making the decisions.
Yeah.
And he's a buddy of mine. So I'm like, oh, come on, man. Like, hey, when you're looking for this position, I'm your guy.
Right.
He's like, of course, you're my guy.
Love.
Like, I know what you do. We've worked together before. I know what you can do. You're going to be my guy. So then, you know, a couple months later, boom, I'm in.
Wow.
It's all networking. Don't burn no bridges. It's not using friends. It's
But
not
also,
using people.
The
It's
caveat
networking.
is you're allowed to burn bridges if the people or things are like not ethical.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
you know what I'm saying? In that
I
case,
feel
like
you.
burn that shit down because you don't want to do anything with them anyways. But also think about it thoroughly.
Yeah.
You know, consult people that you need to. But like, no, I agree. I think, you know, I think that one thing I'm learning, which I think I knew it intuitively, but it's like you win by helping other people win, right? Like you win by servicing others and by being of service to others, whether that's, again, interviewing them and showcasing them, or whether that's, I don't know, like if you open up a bakery and you're making bread for somebody and giving it to them. I think we forget about that, right? Because again, we see the content online and we see people hustling and doing their thing, but it's become such a selfish culture as a whole. And we forget that, oh, if I give more to other people, like I feel better about myself, but also they're going to feel better because they look better. And LA, as much as we are an entertainment capital and there is so much hustle here, the community is so much of service to each other, you know, whether that's me going to the gym every morning and, you know, being with my family over there, or if it's like walking my dog and having people look out for me. I mean, it's as small as, you know, we have a big on-house community over here, you know, but we know all of their names and we hang out and we look out for each other and we're like supporting each other, you know? And I think that's often overlooked, you know?
I think some of that's what makes LA so beautiful is the community. Cause you know, you're talking about, you're from Germany, you know, I'm Mexican American. And there's just so many stories, millions and millions of stories of all these immigrants, you know, and that's why it's so hard to kind of like see what's going on, you know, at these tough times right now of, you know, I don't want to go into politics cause I don't choose sides, you know what I mean? I take a stand. I don't take sides. I take a stand for humanity. You know, I'll take a stand for any leaders because I know who my leader is. That's the man upstairs. So, you know, with all this that's going on, I don't see love in that. You know what I mean? There's no love. Like, where's the humanity at? You know? So if love isn't there, you know, I think that's where we need to lean on the Lord. You know, like ripping families apart, you know, with kids, you know, and just taking them out of your schools or graduations and, you know, showing up and just causing those scenes is just very hard to see, you know, because it's such a beautiful community here in LA and we've all helped each other out, you know, through the years, you know. I have so many family friends that have just helped each other out and they all got different faces, different color skins and color hair and eyes, you know, we're all beautiful in our own ways. So it's hard to see, but it's what makes LA so beautiful, you know?
Yeah. And standing up for one another. I think we've always come together. I mean, on that note, let's do some rapid fire questions.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
What is an LA restaurant, could be in the city or like outside skirts or whatever, that people don't know about, but they should?
One that I used to live right by was Bossa Nova. I don't know if people know about the Brazilian spot, Bossa Nova. That's like a late night spot that I used to go to. I live like walking distance away from there. So that's one spot that I like to go to and they stay open up late too.
What's your LA go-to meal?
LA go-to meal. There's a couple of pizza spots. There's one in the Arts District that's really, really good, New York style, really, really thin. I forget the name of it, but when I go to the Arts District, I like to go there. It's kind of like, it looks like a bar. You walk in there and it's just New York style, really thin. It's so good. Apologize, I don't know the name, but yeah.
The Arts District's not that big, so you can walk around, you can find it.
Yeah, we were just there earlier, right before we came here.
Oh, funny.
Yeah.
What's your favorite hike?
My favorite hike? Oh, Runyon Canyon. Yeah. I love Runyon. I used to go there every single day. Yeah, I used to love it.
Really?
Yeah. So, I used to put in work though. I used to put in work.
Were you the runner going?
Yes. I ran the whole thing up and down, all the way down to my apartment. Yeah. I used to live at the bottom of the hill. I wasn't at the top of the hill because the top of the hill is where the rich folks is at. So I was at the very, very bottom.
Wow.
I was down by Rock and Roll Ralph's, where that Ralph's is at.
Oh
right
my
there.
God. So when I first moved to LA, I was here for a few months and I went to Runyon by myself for the first time. And just being on top of the mountain, overlooking LA, I was like, oh, I've made it.
Yeah.
I've made it here. It was my aha moments. Whenever I have a big question or a big moment in my life that I'm transitioning through, I always go to Runyon to clear my head and do it. But recently it's been Fryman Canyon and Studio City. I don't know if you've been there.
Never been there. No.
I like it. And that's like George Clooney lives there and some other people. So you can always like celeb sightings and stuff are really cool. But yeah.
Solstice Canyon in Malibu is another good one.
Oh, yes.
That one's tucked into the canyons in Malibu. It was really nice. Has a waterfall there.
Yeah,
Go check that one. Solstice Canyon. That one's really cool. It's very easy to do. It's very flat, not too hilly, but that's a beautiful, beautiful walk. Yeah.
Interesting. What is something that you wish more people knew about LA before they come here?
That's a great question. Knew about LA. There are good people. There are, well-grounded people here. People that want to help out, because it does have this reputation of, everybody kind of like being, pretentious and stuff like that. So there is that. You can find that too. But when you really do get to know the real LA, the real people that are the heartbeat of LA, those are really, really good people, helpful people, good-hearted people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. What's one wish that you have for your son?
A wish? That's a good one. I wish, he could be happy, happy. And that comes from making the right decisions. I teach him a lot to live with the decisions. You got to live with whatever decisions you make. If you make a bad decision, I'm going to let you live with that. You're going to have to live with that. If you make the right decisions, then we're going to be happy.
Yeah.
So go out there and be happy. And how you do that, make the right decisions.
Love that. How do you want people to feel when they listen to Cali Vibe?
I want you to be chilling, having carne asada on the grill, or be, on the beach, kicking back and having some ceviche on the beach.
Love that.
And just be, playing some beach soccer, laying out on the water, take a walk on the sand, holding hands with your wifey or whoever that might be.
Love it.
Yeah.
Oh, it makes me so happy. Okay. People that want to get in touch with you, how can they find you?
My social media. So I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. All that is at I am Mario Ruiz. At I am Mario Ruiz.
And I'll put it in the show notes too, so you can see it.
Yes. And all my music is on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, like everywhere you get your streaming, your favorite platform. All my music is there.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Thank you all for watching and for listening. And we'll catch you next time on Everybody Hates LA.
Yeah.
Yay!